time, but I eventually had to leave with nothing. Things went from bad to worse. Dad was in the hospital, my brother was probably a criminal now, and my only friend had run away to that arrogant rich witch. In the evening, I heard somebody walking into our house. Pablo talked to the guest for a while before finally seeing them off. I walked out into the hallway and I asked him who it was. "That's none of your business." He looked even more pissed off than usual as he locked himself in his room. Before Pablo slammed the door shut, I saw him tearing a photo into tiny pieces. Yeah, he was up to no good again. I felt terribly lonely and I couldn't focus the next day at school. "Kelly, is something bothering you? Come on, talk to me." I didn't want to burden my friend with all my family issues, so I only told him about my missing pet. "Your ferret's in the mansion with that spoiled heiress, Melanie?" "Yeah, I don't know how to convince her to let me in." "It's useless to try, Kelly. Reasoning with Melanie is impossible." Barry went on to say that Melanie used to go to our school and she was absolutely insufferable. She turned the lives of all of her classmates and teachers into a living hell with her antics. Everyone was on cloud 9 when she switched to homeschooling. I bet Melanie found Simba and just doesn't want to give him back because she knows how important he is to you. Should I try talking to her father? Mr. Bailey? Oh no, he's even worse than his daughter. Damn, what do I do then? I heard they're looking for a new maid. If you got hired, you could find your ferret. I wasn't so sure it would work, but I had no choice, so I listened to my classmates' advice. That day, I came to the mansion for the job interview after school. Melanie recognized me. She looked arrogant, and Mr. Bailey was just as unpleasant to deal with. The apple didn't fall far from the tree. "Okay, you're hired. I'm going on a business trip and I don't have time to look for anyone better." With those words, he turned to his daughter. "I'm leaving for a few days, Melanie. Don't you dare touch my collection, and keep an eye on our new maid." "Oh, don't you worry, Dad. I'm not letting her out of my sight." Mr. Bailey left. I changed into my new uniform and I got to work. Even though Melanie had a terrible reputation, I hoped that she wasn't as bad as everyone said. But imagine my shock when it turned out she was even worse. She was acting like a psycho queen. I mean, she bossed me around and got on my nerves. "My shoe clasp came undone. Get on your knees and fix it." Ugh, I wasn't actually her maid, but she didn't know that. I gritted my teeth, but I endured Melanie's ridiculous antics to find Simba. Searching the rooms wasn't easy. After all, Melanie never left the mansion. "Simba, are you in here? What are you doing? Are you trying to steal something?" "What? Of course not." One day, I found hidden ferret food and special toys in Melanie's dressing room. Melanie was definitely hiding Simba from me. "Gotcha. I knew you were after my designer clothes. I don't want your stupid rags. What do you need these toys and food for? You don't have any pets." "I don't have to explain myself to you. Don't you dare snoop around in here, or I'll tell my dad to fire you." I had never met anyone so obnoxious before. Things weren't going great at home either. Dad was still in the hospital, and Pablo said he was leaving for a few days. Don't look for me, got it? I was convinced he got mixed up in something terrible and now needed to lie low. Why couldn't he ever stay out of trouble? The next day, I kept acting like a maid and looking for Simba. Eventually, I got to Melanie's bed and found a photo of a beautiful woman under her pillow. Apparently, it was Melanie's mom. The craziest thing was that the woman was wearing the same brooch I'd seen in Pablo's room. Had he stolen it from Melanie? My blood ran cold. Mr. Bailey was a scary man. I was afraid to even imagine what would happen if he found out about the missing brooch. I called my brother and I asked him about that brooch again, but he just snapped at me and told me to stay out of it. He didn't trust me because I had turned him in before. Barry was the only person I could tell about my problems. We were working on a chemistry project that evening when I told him about my suspicions. "I think Pablo stole an expensive brooch from that vile family. I'm afraid of what they might do to him."
"Kelly, you aren't responsible for your brother. If he broke the law, he should be punished."
Maybe you're right. I told him that Melanie was driving me nuts. I want to slap the living daylights out of her. She refuses to give me back my ferret. Not because she cares about him, but because she knows it drives me up the wall.
"I told you she was a bad person. Maybe it's time someone put her in her place."
What do you have in mind? Barry smiled slyly and told me that he had a plan that would let me get back at Melanie for everything she had done.
Her father has an expensive collection of fragile Chinese figurines. He's obsessed with them. I also know he doesn't get along with his daughter and is very strict with her. Destroy his collection and frame Melanie. Mr. Bailey will get mad at her and send her away to a boarding school for girls.
Any other time I would have refused to do it, but I'd reached my limits and I was running out of patience. That's why Barry's idea didn't seem so bad to me. You know what? I'll do it. Melanie deserves it for the way that she's been acting. First, I had to find out where Mr. Bailey was hiding his precious collection. I searched the whole house before it finally occurred to me to I'd go up to the attic. You won't believe what I saw. A huge pet house with all sorts of toys in it. Melanie was sitting next to it and playing with my pet. I knew you were hiding him. I caught Melanie off guard. She freaked out and burst into tears. I'm sorry. I was terrible to you. It's just, I've been so lonely ever since my mom died. Dad forbids me from having animals. And when I met this sweetie, I just couldn't bear to give him up. Melanie went on to say that she didn't actually have the world at her fingertips. She used to go to school like everyone else and even had a boyfriend. I thought he loved me, but it turned out Barry was only with me for the money. When I found out about it, I dumped him. He didn't take the rejection gracefully and turned everyone at school against me. The backstabber. I couldn't stand it and I switched to homeschooling. Now, I don't have any friends and I never leave the house. Then, Melanie told me she had met a cute guy and started going out with him recently. She thought she'd finally caught a break. But he turned out to be a bastard too. He only wanted Dad's money. As soon as he got what he wanted, he dumped me. I lost faith in people after that, and I took my anger out on you. I'm sorry. Wait, did you say your boyfriend's name was Barry? Do you have a photo of him? She showed me a picture of my classmate on her phone, and the puzzle pieces finally fit together. What a scumbag! Barry wanted to use me to get back at his ex-girlfriend. Melanie, look after Simba. I need to deal with something, but I'll come back for him. I found Barry, and I told him I wouldn't be taking revenge on Melanie. She's not that bad. She's just unhappy and lonely. You are a piece of work, though. Oh, so you figured it out. Bravo, Kelly. But you're gonna do everything I told you to anyway. He smirked and showed me a photo of Pablo climbing out of Melanie's window with a brooch in his hands. I've been spying on Melanie for a long time, trying to come up with the perfect revenge plan. Imagine my surprise when I saw your brother. I didn't know how to use the photo until you came along. If you don't set Melanie up as we planned, I'm sending this picture to the police and your brother goes to jail. He gave me time to think about it and left. That slippery worm. I didn't know what to do. Pablo had stolen the brooch for Dad's sake, but he broke the law anyways. What was the right thing to do? Should I frame Melanie and save my brother or leave Pablo to the wolves? I decided to visit Dad at the hospital and ask him for advice. However, I didn't tell him I was talking about Pablo, so I didn't worry him.
You've always been an honest girl. Stay true to yourself.
After that, I came to a decision. I called Barry and I firmly told him I would not play his dirty games.
Is that so? Your brother will go to jail then.
I trudged back home. I missed Pablo so much that I went into his room. The pieces of the photo he'd torn up were still lying on the floor. I glued the pieces back together like a jigsaw puzzle, and I saw Barry and Melanie. They were kissing in the photo. Where did Pablo get that picture? I quickly ran to Melanie and I showed her the photo and asked her about it. It's old. Back then, Barry and I were still an item. Where did you find this? It was in my brother's room. And then Pablo came over to Melanie's place. He didn't notice me and handed Melanie a stack of cash. Here, I don't want anything from you. I finally earned enough to pay you back every cent you gave me for Dad's surgery. At that moment, my brother finally noticed me. He stared at me with his mouth open. What are you doing here, Munchkin? Don't call me that. We're the same age. I told him everything that had happened to me. For the first time in a long while, we had an honest conversation. I found out that he'd been dating Melanie in secret. He was the new boyfriend that she had told me about. When Dad got injured, Pablo called his girlfriend and told her he needed money for the surgery. Melanie wanted to help him and gave him the money. Everything would have been fine, except Barry had apparently felt jealous when he found out Melanie had a new boyfriend. He wanted them to break up, so he gave Pablo that old photo. I thought Melanie was cheating on me. I lost it, tore up the picture, and broke up with her. Then I found a job to pay her back. I might be a hooligan, but I don't use people. Wait, what about the brooch? Why'd you climb out of the window with it? Dad didn't know I had a boyfriend, so Pablo couldn't just walk in through the front door. I gave him my mother's brooch as a keepsake. Phew. You can't imagine how relieved I felt when my brother hadn't done anything wrong. The lovebirds made up when they realized they hadn't been betrayed, and Barry was to blame for everything. Meanwhile, I got my friend back. Hello, Simba. Oh, you've gotten heavier. I took good care of him.
By the way, Munchkin, I mean Kelly, you can be proud of me. I earned that money. You were right when you tried to help me.
I'm glad you came to your senses. Soon, Dad fully recovered and was discharged from the hospital. When I saw Barry next at school, I told him his plan had failed miserably. My brother didn't steal anything. Melanie gave him the brooch. The cops will laugh you out of the station. Oh yeah, and by the way, Pablo and Melanie came up to us, glaring daggers at Barry. This sweet couple has decided to come back to school. So there are 3 of us against you now. If I were you, I wouldn't get on our nerves. We could quickly put you in your place. Barry ran away with his tail tucked between his legs, and we burst out laughing. That's it for my story, but there'll be many others on the Private Diary channel. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Have you ever been the new kid at school? Tell me in the comments down below.